Michael, and NBA Twitter won last night. The takes were flying. Start us off. You get the first shot.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it is good to see Kyrie Irving back in stride again. Shout out, one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites now. Come on now, that's a great shirt. But really,
You're doing all right
to see him
yourself
doing his
today.
thing. Hey, thank you. I'd like to see them do a collaboration together. Black Thought, Frankie Beverly. That would be something. And of course, with Maze and the Roots. Maze and the Roots together in New Orleans. Got to be in New Orleans at the House of Blues or something like that. All right. Or during the Essence. Kyrie Irving is exactly what everybody said. Well, what most people say about him. Dynamic, in the flow of the game, awesome talent. I couldn't agree with Kevin Durant more when he says that this has been an incredible year for the NBA, but I'm going to take it a step further. It's just an incredible era for basketball, and I'm glad to see Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and Karl Anthony Towns and LeBron James and Steph Curry and Trae Young and Luka and Jason Tatum, all these guys a part of this great era. But I keep coming back to fear. It's my fear. I have a healthy amount of grudging respect for the Brooklyn Nets right now. But I fear them now. I fear them now more than I did last year for some reason. And, Mike, think about it. Last year, they had the three of them. I guess I just didn't believe in the trio. I believe in the duo of Kyrie and Durant. Yeah, it must be the shoes, dog. It's the shoes, Mars. But I just don't. Hey, when people say nobody wants to see them? No, they're afraid of them. Anybody in the first round, every potential first round opponent for Brooklyn, assuming that Brooklyn gets out of the play-in round, or assuming that Brooklyn
is a
bypasses.
Huge assumption.
I was going to say, but wait, they might bypass it. They are not so far off where it's impossible for them to get the 6th seed.
They are the 6th seed. Yeah, no, they get the 6th. What is that? They are 3 wins and 4 losses, so 3.5 games behind Cleveland in the sixth spot.
And Cleveland has been a little shaky lately.
So this is why. Okay, my fear. You and I have talked for a while about how nobody wants to see the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs, given that, as we've seen the last 2 nights, for the first time in NBA history, teammates going back-to-back for 50 points. Either one of these dudes can go supernova. But we have seen back-to-back 60-point games on back-to-back nights in NBA history by the same dude, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain. A little history lesson real quick. But anyway, when it comes to the Nets, I'm glad you brought up the standings, because here's the truth of the matter. As it stands right now, unvaccinated Kyrie Irving will only play in 3 more games the rest of the regular season. Now, this is the Nets squad that's won 4 in a row, but it's not that long ago that Kevin Durant was shaking his head in frustration in Boston, okay? So Kyrie Irving is available right now for 3 more games this season. And as it stands right now, looking at the standings, Michael, okay?
Yeah.
The first play-in game for Brooklyn is at Toronto. He can't play there. Hell, he can't even go there. Okay? If they were to lose to Toronto, they would play the winner of Atlanta and Charlotte at home.
Right.
He can't play there. So the truth of the matter is, we better appreciate Kyrie Irving while we got him. Because, Michael, everybody has said, we have said, it's a real simple solution. Just get the shot. But I've long since stopped beating that dead horse, okay? And that ship has sailed. We believe it's sailed. Kyrie Irving is dug in on his principles and his convictions, okay? So all we can do right now, and this is where I'm at, is I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that the Nets weren't stubborn enough to say we're not accepting a part-time player, thus robbing us of the brilliance that is Kyrie Irving. And watching him play the way he played last night, hell, the game before that, I mean, he has been brilliant as a part-time employee. It's the best part-time lover since Stevie Wonder, Michael. So I'm just glad we got some of him. But I fear, going back to that word, that these last 3 games could be the last 3 games we see. And as a championship contender, they still have the 3rd best odds, surprisingly, when it comes to a championship. But believing that the Nets, with Kyrie part-time, could go through the play-in and then the gauntlet of the NBA playoffs without home court advantage, that's a tall task. They're going to be a problem, don't get me wrong, but that's a big ask without the benefit of home court advantage. Put it this way, if this were an NCAA tournament, I'm taking the Nets all day. With those 2 dudes, Nets all day. But a series against a deep Eastern Conference with one guy not being able to play at home, I've said before, this team, these Nets may go down as one of the biggest what-ifs in recent memory. That's after Harden got traded. Simmons, they have high hopes for him coming back soon, and we'll see how he's integrated into the team. But for now, I'm just enjoying the show. And listen, I'm looking at these road games that the Nets have coming up, and I'm like, man, maybe I might need to get a ticket for this to see what Kyrie Irving does with these last 3 games in the regular season. And we'll see who and where they end up playing in the play-in.
Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Now,
shoot.
Now, what's the conversation you really hate the most? I always try to bait you into it, and you never take it. Right? What is that? What do you hate the most?
Which one? That you trolled me with? Probably basketball. Oh, okay, basketball. Good. Thanks for narrowing it down. Probably best player of all time. Probably because I'm taking it just ignoring it or ignoring that one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you've said many times it's like Stevie Wonder and Prince, right? Mm-hmm. Stevie Wonder and Prince. It's really your preference. Why must we do this? All right. So guys, can you put that last quote board up from the NBA players? The last one with the tweets.
Something rub you the wrong way? What rubs you the wrong way?
Yeah, man. Put that up. All right. So
what's the problem?
It's right
Just
there.
Talk to me. What's the problem?
All right. The problem. See, I was trying not to go here today. I just wanted to start off in a positive way, but then Evan Fournier got to check in. See, like this is the stuff that just drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Like, just like the greatest of all time, and we're really only talking about the greatest of all time. You're really talking about maybe 5 guys. Okay, maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 10 guys in the debate, but legitimately it's 5. So you got to pick the greatest among 5. But when you say he's the most skilled player ever, it just grates on me. Ever. So it doesn't even have to be. You can just be skills. You don't necessarily have to put your skills together. You can be a really skilled player, but not a good player, and you could be.
Come on, Michael.
Ain't no nuance.
You know what he means
ain't no
by
nuance.
That. But you know what he means.
Stop. Twitter doesn't have nuance.
You know what he means. No, but I said it. We ran off the top of the show. We aired when I said he's the most skilled offensive player ever, or at least that I've ever seen.
Oh my God!
So I said it, and that was after Chauncey Billups called him the most skilled point guard. And I said, why are we limiting him to point guard? Michael, you know how basketball conversations work. Okay, there's MVP and then there's best player. And then there's player who you most want to build around. And there's player who you want to take the last shot. And then and then there's best all around. It's like senior superlatives. Most likely to succeed, best all around, most amiable. There's all kinds of different titles. Most skilled is strictly talking about, his skills are obviously different than Kevin Durant's skills, whose skills are different than Shaquille O'Neal's skills, whose skills were different than Hakeem Olajuwon's skills, whose skills were different than Michael Jordan. Yes.
LeBron.
So let's try this again. You can certainly debate Kobe or Michael Jordan, but when somebody's talking about skill in this context, they're talking about with the ball in his hands and his ability to get his own shot and make his own shot wherever he wants, in terms of the perimeter, mid-range, and obviously finishing around the rim. He's one of the best finishers I've ever seen. His mid-range game is incredible. He's as good as three-point shooter as there is in the NBA.
You've never seen anybody do that.
I'm comfortable saying the total package when it comes to an offensive arsenal, he is as good, if not better, than anybody I've ever seen. Position aside. I wouldn't compare his skill set to, again, Hakeem Olajuwon because their games were different. You could say LeBron James, from an all-around player standpoint, his skill set. LeBron's a better passer than Kyrie. So, I mean, there are more skills than just scoring. We're strictly talking about, putting that ball in that basket. That boy was born to do that. Kobe Bryant's another guy that's similar, but Kobe didn't have the handle that Kyrie did. Steph Curry. Steph Curry's right there, but it's different. Steph Curry, there's a great argument for Steph. It's not airtight. It's not above reproach. It's not an ironclad take. But when we're talking about skill, don't let it turn you off. Just embrace it. The dude's an artist.
It's a turnoff.
The dude's an artist.
Because it's one of those
appreciate the brilliance while we can. But 3 games.
I appreciate it. It's gonna be more than that. It's gonna be more than that because I think they might get the 6th seed. Okay, they might get it.
Okay, they got to win.
Schedule.
Yeah, it's a home-heavy schedule.
Final week cupcakes.
It's a home-heavy schedule without that guy.
But also cupcakes. But also cupcakes.
Okay.
So, it's just an avalanche that just got out of control. It got out of control.
Listen, I didn't see Pistol Pete Maravich. I didn't see Pete Maravich play. But just when you combine it all, he has it all.
But you see Steph, though. Steph, you can see him.
Steph's great. Steph is phenomenal. And there's an argument to be made for Steph, but like when Kyrie is in his bag, any one of his designer luxury bags.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.